My vision, I think, is the biggest vision of all candidates because I really want to make the MSU something huge. And in that term, I mean something that has a substantial amount of influence in the city. I'm really adamant on this because the MSU as an organization is the agent for the student voice. That's what it is. That's why students pay into it. The students are not represented by administration, right? The MSU is the agent for students to express their voices, to express their ideas, and to really pursue what they want to pursue. So with that, I think the MSU does have the potential to be a lot more than it is right now. And as student enrollment is increasing, the channels for students to participate in the MSU have to expand. And I have the know-how of how to do that. It's not only what I specialize in academically, but I'm actually working on it as well. And it's a bunch of side projects of getting people to be incorporated in political processes, really trying to bring in a new way of democracy, direct participatory democracy. That's what I'm really adamant about. And I really want to lay the foundation for that transition. So that way, if there's thousands of students that literally want to be part of the MSU process and influencing its policy and its strategies, they can do so. And that is my biggest thing with the MSU. It has to be a lot bigger than what it is right now.
Now, if you look at the other candidates, most of their platforms are based on continuity of the current MSU. Why is yours so different? Why do you want to reconstruct it? Like, I feel like it's very ambitious.
Yes. Well, I sat on the SRA for a year, and I also have extended experience in various political arenas. And from what I've noticed, especially within the city as well, is that a lot of these governing structures, political structures, be it municipal government, be it student politics, they're all the same. The structures and the dynamics are the same, the processes are the same, and that's why I think that being able to establish an alternative form of government at a micro level such as a university government can potentially be an example for municipal, provincial, and federal governments. And that's why I really think I want to be able to have the opportunity to try that. And I do so not with the intent of thinking that it will fail, because I don't think it will. I think that the point of being in university is to really expand on new ideas, be creative, and be willing to accept if you make mistakes, but you learn from new processes of trying new things. And I think at this point especially, when you look at apathy levels in terms of voter turnout outside, you look at provincial and federal elections in the past 2 years, within the past year, they've been lower. The past provincial election was the lowest in history of the province. Federal is the exact same. And so I think there is a common theme that not only students and student politics, but people in general society, they don't necessarily have the faith, or they don't necessarily believe in that voting system anymore. And that's why I think that representative democracy, the representative system that the SRA reinforces, I think it's obsolete. I think that we really need to try new things, and I personally believe that direct participatory democracy, at least laying the foundation to try something new and getting students to actually have a direct say and institutionalizing it, that's the big thing that I want to do. I have the expertise to do it. It's a very simple process, but then it's easier said than done. And I think that you really need to have someone at the forefront that knows what they're doing in order to lay the foundation for that. And I think that not only can the MSU president do that, but that's the role of the president. I think the role of the president is not necessarily to represent the student voice, but it's to facilitate it. And that's what I would say is my biggest difference in terms of all my platform points with the other candidates.
So can you talk a bit about your the basis of your platform and 3 goals that you would like to reach if you were to be elected MSU president?
Well, the basis of my platform is really unique from everyone else's because, again, if people actually look deep and I guess analyze what I'm getting at, I'm really hitting the power dynamics. I'm not addressing band-aid remedies. You know, I'm not coming up with an idea of this is temporary, it's a temporary fix. I want to hit things at the root because I personally believe that when you want to resolve an issue, you don't give it a band-aid remedy. You don't give it something that 3 or 4 years from now, it might reoccur. You have to hit things at the root to really solve the problem. And when you look at a lot of the things, for instance, one of my biggest platform points that I think is underestimated and most people don't know about is that I really want students to have exclusive authority over the operations of the student center. I mean, students paid for the majority of the mortgage, and I think that when we talk about the space in the student center that's available, when we talk about the vendors that come into the atrium, students have to have a say in that. I know personally a lot of students, they don't even feel like they want to go into the student center because they feel they're always constantly being harassed by banks to take credit cards. And you know, the symbolic irony, you know, students that are in debt are going to be more indebted, you know, and students have come to me and told me, you know, I don't want to go through the student center because I feel like it's not accepting. I just don't feel like it's a comfortable setting. So with that being said, also addressing the issue of food cost and quality and price, again, you can say you want to try and address the cost and quality of it, but that's a band-aid remedy because you have to hit the root. And the root is legal documents. It's the authority over the student center. The only reason why Paradise Catering has a monopoly is because it's a clause on a contract. And not only is this is where I specialize in academically, but like again, my platform point emphasizes students have to have the exclusive authority of the student center. That's hitting it at the root. I'm not saying I can make that happen, but I want to lay the foundation for students to come forward with that, because I know students feel very passionate about that, and I know I have the political will to actually do it, because people know me as being very strong principled and having a strong will, and I'm not intimidated by anyone. And so when it comes to a position to have to sit table to table to negotiate with anyone, regardless of their position, they know that I won't budge. So that is, in essence, I think one of my bases of my platform points is that I am really hitting things at a root. And in terms of 3 things that I like to get done, number 1 is the student authority over the student center. Number 2 is really getting students to be empowered, giving them a sense of ownership. And I think a lot of my platform points that emphasize on getting out to the city is just doing that, because I feel that students here do have the possibility to really influence the city on a huge scale. And when we look at a lot of the poverty conditions downtown, a lot of the health problems downtown, you know, McMaster students, I think, have to incorporate what they're learning here out into the practical world. And it's a relationship that will be a win-win situation, right? The city is looking for intellectual resources, is looking for extra ways to address these issues. Students here are learning what they have to learn for the future. And I think that by incorporating that in the same process, it's just a complementary relationship. And I want to really emphasize how students have the power to actually influence an entire city, and I really want to make that happen. And I think lastly, the most important thing as well is changing the culture. There has to be a fundamental change in the culture of the students here on campus, from not just coming here to Hamilton for 8 months for those that don't live in Hamilton and just leave. They don't even stay here for the summer. This idea, and I've said it on my platform, this idea that McMaster is just a university in Hamilton. I don't think that's the case. I think that McMaster is Hamilton's university, and I think that there is an obligation that the university has to really address the issues in its own backyard. Because if, I'll give you an example, health sciences is world renowned. You know, they are known around the world for having leading research technologies. So be it. But if you just go 10 minutes downtown, you have some of the worst health indicators in the whole country. There's health indicators that are worse in sub-Saharan Africa. The Code Red Report released this. So, you know, see the irony. You have a world-class institution that is known for health sciences, and then health indicators right in its backyard are showing the opposite. So these are the things that I think just have to be addressed. I know students are on board with it. And that's really what I want to bring it for, is that change in culture, youth empowerment, and you know, students really taking advantage of what's theirs, and doing it in a relationship that is legitimate, most of all, and at the same time is necessary.
I see through your campaign that it's the most raw out of all of them. I mean, even something small, like you're not even wearing your campaign colors, I feel like you mix into the student body. Like if you were walking down the street, no one would know that you're running for MSU president, and that's very admirable. And it really is a revolution at the end of the day. So can you explain why you chose that slogan, "Join the Revolution"?
For sure. Well, the main reason behind that is because I actually am settling for nothing less than a complete transformation. And I mean that in every sense. To the governance, when I really want to bring forward direct participatory democracy, that is a fundamental switch from representative, you know, this top-down structure, changing it to bottom-up, and institutionalizing it. That's the main thing again. I'm getting to the core. It's not just giving lip service to it. I'm actually want to implement it and make it part of the structure. Again, at the same time, shifting the pedagogy of the university. I want to be able to show students that by going out into the city and incorporating what they learn in very simple projects, it will enhance their education experience. I am saying this not out of theorizing, it's from a testimony. I myself have done this, and my most powerful experience was working with migrant workers, agricultural migrant workers in the Niagara region. With a colleague of mine, we started an 8-week education program, very simple. And through that, we still continue working with them even until today, when they're here during the summertime. And through that experience of just interacting and engaging with marginalized populations in our community, you create a sense of I think, ownership of what you know what you want to do. What do I mean by that is a lot of students here, regardless of the faculties that they're in, when they go out and they really just establish a relationship with people and start talking and hearing what people have to say in the community. And I emphasize on marginalized populations because downtown Hamilton has that. It's really going to expand their ways of thinking. It's really going to open their minds. And it's really going to show them how they can incorporate what they're learning into a passion that they discover. Because I think a lot of students are graduating saying, I don't know what I want to do. Right? That's why you see a lot of students graduating and then end up going either to a postdoc in college because they don't have the practical experience. So what I really want to bring forward again is laying the foundation. I'm not saying that I'm going to bring the best solutions, because I don't feel like I have the solution. I fundamentally believe the role of the leader of the MSU is not to say I have this idea and I want to do it for you. It's really to address the power structures, it's to address the channels, and it's to address the entire processes of the organization, to amplify it, to expand it. And it's not to just do these 1, 2, 3 fine detail points. It's really to create a larger channel for students to be involved, because again, there's over 23,000 students on campus that each of them have an amazing idea. There's over 23,000 amazing ideas on campus. They should be able to pursue that, right? An idea is just an idea. I think the role of the president is not to come forward with one good idea. It's to really look at broadening the organization for the better and really expanding it so that all of these ideas on campus, all of these students can use that avenue, because it is their avenue, right? The MSU is, in all sense of the term, it is their avenue, it is their agent. And so I really want people to know that, because 80% of students don't even know about the MSU, or if they do, they have absolutely no idea who's involved, what it does. And again, that's the culture, right? You really have to change that culture in the MSU. And I think that by having this kind of raw campaign, I didn't want to make it raw, but it's just, this is who I am. What you see is what you get, right? And this is how I've approached it. I mean, I am not addressing anything any differently from how I have before. Those that have been in political arenas with me know how passionate I am. They know I have very strong stances, and I'm very outspoken, and I'm a fearless critic. I mean, I will say something when I'm against it. And I think that's leadership that is not only necessary, but students want to see that. Because the reason why they haven't been participating, I think, is because they haven't been seeing that kind of leadership. And so that's what I provide. And a lot of people know me for that. So hitting at the end of this is, I really want to be able to just have students realize the potential that MSU has, but most importantly, the potential they have. Because the MSU is just going to be a facilitator of what they want to do. And that's why I emphasize the role of the president is to be someone who can expand the facilitation of what students want to do, not say that I'm going to work on 1 or 2 projects. It really has to be much more broad.
I was going to ask you why you think the student body should vote Alex Ramirez, but I think you kind of just... Yeah,
I guess, yeah. It's, I mean, if people want to really look into my platform points, have any questions, come up and talk to me. Because I know people are saying, like, it's kind of too vague, right? But again, it's very simple and straightforward. And I said, if you want to come and talk, come talk to me. I mean, I'm very outgoing. I have a lot of friends that have told me, you know what? People are saying like that you're intimidating, or you look like you know you have to smile more because like you look intimidating, and so they're emphasizing you don't want people to say, oh, he's a nice guy after I began to talk with him, right? You have to really have them see that oh, he's a nice guy, go talk to him. So I mean, I encourage everyone just to vote for me, because I'm not stretching the truth when I say I really want to bring about a revolution. I really want to bring about a complete transformation, and not only the culture of students, not only the MSU, but also the city. And I think that will come from the students, and students recognize that. But again, it's if they're willing to vote, if they want to vote, if they want to be part in politics. But at the end of the day, what I think what I have done is becoming a candidate is I have expanded the debate. I know that a lot of people are participating more in politics. Just the idea of joining the revolution, it sparked a lot of people's minds, and they've really wanted to inquire and investigate. And so my job's done. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to spark people's inquiry, and so far I've had a lot of good reception of people wanting to talk to me and know about my ideas. So
that's awesome. On a lighter note, what's your most memorable moment with McMaster?
Oof.
It can be embarrassing.
My most memorable moment. That's a really good question. I've never actually thought about that. It's 4.5 years now. To be honest with you, I would have to say it's not necessarily a moment, but it's what I regret not doing earlier. And it was over the past year is when I've been specifically doing a lot of community work in Hamilton over the past 1.5 years. And one thing that I think was most memorable was just when I was downtown working with a couple of youth in the East End, and I had asked them, do you guys know about McMaster? And they said no. And I was thinking, you're from Hamilton, and they did not even know what McMaster was, like these 11-year-old kids. And that was really the moment for me that I would say was most memorable, because that's what made me realize, like, there is a significant, element in this city that has to be addressed. And I really emphasize that in culture. So I think that's what my most memorable moment was realizing that there has to be a big shift. And I guess I'm not saying that was my calling, but it's something that I found out was a deep passion of mine. And I'm just running my platform on these convictions that this is what has to happen. And I'm not doing this to really, pursue individualistic goals. It's just something that came about, and it complements a lot of my other passions. So a lot of my platform points are projects that I'm already working on. And so even if I don't win, I'm still going to be doing them. And I just feel like if I were given the opportunity to have this position, it would just cement a lot of the things that I'm doing and provide the opportunity to really burst open a lot of the projects that I think benefit not only the city again, but students.
That's awesome. Good luck with your campaign.
Perfect. Thank you.